Growing up, I always knew that I was different. It doesn't take long for a kid to realize that they don't look like everyone else. I grew up in a Christian home, and my parents always taught me that Jesus loves me, God has a plan for my life, and that I'm not an accident. And growing up, I always knew that, but I think I just knew it in my head, and I didn't fully know it in my heart until I got older. When I was 5, I was invited to a friend's safari party, and I told my parents that I wanted to be the tallest person in the room. So they made me into a giraffe, and I thought it was awesome. For the whole time that I was there, I was just like my friends. I was tall just like them, I could fit in, I blended in, and it was amazing. But the thing with parties is that they eventually end. And when the party was over, I had to face the music and take off my costume. And that's the thing with dwarfism, is that it's not a difference that I can cover up. I can't just wear a giraffe costume, put on this jacket, or put on makeup and hide the fact that I'm small, but I don't look like everyone else. Dwarfism just doesn't work that way. And over the course of my life, I really wrestled with that. I had to come to terms with the fact that, the world doesn't look like me. And I had to choose not to hide away, but to choose to live this life that God has given me. And dwarfism has also been an amazing gift. There's been so many things that I've gotten to accomplish in my life. I've gotten to swim for my country. I've gotten to represent Canada at the Paralympics, and it's been amazing. Something I never would have gotten to do without this difference. But at the same time, people can be mean. I've had my picture taken far too many times without my permission. I've had people say things that you just never should say to another human being. One night I was walking home after school, and there was a group of boys that were following me, and they were taking my picture, and I could hear them behind me. And all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, one of them came up behind me, put his hands on my head, and jumped over me in the middle of the street. Who does that to someone? Do you know the game Leapfrog? Yeah, it's a fun game if you're a kid, but this was a game that I never asked to play. And after that, I struggled a lot with why God would allow me to look so different when people could be so mean. It was hard. I was fearful of walking outside of my apartment. I had anxiety for the first time in forever, and it was just a hard thing to go through. I remember finally one night just breaking down. I couldn't take it anymore. And I prayed to God, and I told him, I said, God, if you truly did make me and I'm not an accident, then I need a better way to live. And that better way to live is total surrender. It's surrendering the parts of myself that I like and the parts that are also really hard. And over time, as I've given my disability over to God, he has reshaped the way that I think about myself. But he loves everything about me. But Jesus actually says this in Matthew 5:14, that you are the light of the world. And what that means is that we have a light to shine, that it is actually our responsibility to shine our lights into the world so that the world around us would experience God in a new way, and that the world that we live in would become brighter. And being different doesn't disqualify you from shining your light. He's made you for a purpose. You are not an accident. I am not an accident. And it took me a long time to realize that, but when I did, my whole life changed. My world, in a sense, got so much brighter. It can be so easy to compare yourself to another person, especially when you have something about you that maybe you're not a fan of, that draws too much attention, that draws unwanted attention. And what God says about us is that we are all wonderfully made, that because we are wonderfully made, we have a unique light to shine into the world. And the thing about light and you having a light is that I can't shine your light for you. You can't shine mine. But when we choose to shine our lights, the world gets brighter, and we get to do that together. And what I know now is that God has handpicked me to live this life, and everything I do now has a purpose. And I've experienced a lot of cool things in this life, and I've experienced a lot of hard things. But at the end of the day, I'm just Dee, and that in itself is enough for me. My name's Dee, this is my story, and I am wonderfully made.